Discover the incredible truth. A poor student's heartwarming dance invite to a nurse reveals her. In the heart of a small Midwestern town, 16-year-old Jamie Harper felt the weight of the world on his shoulders. Juggling 2 part-time jobs just to keep the lights on and his younger sister's medicine stock left little room for anything else. Yet, nothing drained him quite like the thought of prom night, where his dreams collided head-on with his reality. High school wasn't just an academic battleground, it was a place where status reigned supreme, and Jamie stood on the lower end. He couldn't shake the image of Sarah, the warm-hearted nurse who cared for his sister, glowing in his mind. To him, she was a beacon, a gentle smile amidst the chaos of life, and it was crushing to think she'd never see him as anything but a struggling student. With prom approaching, each heartbeat echoed an unasked question: should he ask her to dance? His friends, who often joked about Jamie's infatuation, reminded him of their disparities. He was just a poor student in tattered shoes. The nurse in Sarah embodied everything he felt he could never reach. Quietly, he'd been crafting the perfect invitation. His palms were sweaty, heart racing, imagining the look on her face. "Don't be ridiculous," he muttered to himself, his reflection staring back in the bathroom mirror, a cocktail of hope and fear swirling within. Would they laugh? Would she refuse? Yet, despite the fears, there was a tiny flicker of hope, a voice in his heart urging him to take a chance. Then, out of the blue, his hopes shattered before they had even begun to bloom. He learned from a coworker at the diner that Sarah was being reassigned to a hospital in a neighboring town, her attendance at prom now uncertain. The air left Jamie's lungs, and the sorrow hit him like a crashing wave. How could he face his friends when they questioned his decision to pursue someone they deemed out of reach? Their mockery seeped into his soul, mixing with simmering resentment, casting shadows over his dreams. Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. As the fundraiser at the hospital unfolded, Jamie watched Sarah pouring her heart into each conversation with families and patients. Each smile she offered, each comforting word, unraveled something deep inside him. He felt a surge of admiration, a burning desire to defend the connection they shared, no matter the whispers that taunted him at school. While others worried about status and appearances, Sarah interacted with compassion that could challenge the heart of a stone wall. With prom looming ever closer, Jamie made a decision. He would speak his truth. His heart beat for Sarah, not status. Love could bridge any divide, and he believed that fiercely. Yet, doubt crept back in. Would they understand? And in that moment of resolve, a single question lingered unanswered: would courage truly change hearts, or was he destined to be a dreamer in a world built of judgment? Jamie's heart raced as the day of the prom drew nearer, an event that felt like a distant star, beautiful yet unattainable. He knew the risks involved, yet there was an undeniable pull toward Sarah, one he couldn't ignore. If he didn't try now, he might regret it forever. Still, anxiety clawed at him like a hungry beast, teasing him with what-ifs and worst-case scenarios. After the fundraiser, he decided on a plan. He would write her a letter. It felt less overwhelming than directly asking her in person, and he could pour his feelings onto paper without the pressure of her immediate reaction. Under the soft glow of his desk lamp that night, Jamie poured his heart onto a sheet of crinkled notebook paper. Each word felt monumental, as if he were carving them into stone. "Sarah, your kindness makes this world a better place," he wrote, taking care to express how much she meant to him not only as a nurse but as a friend. Finishing the letter, he gently folded it and slipped it into an envelope, sealing it with a small wax stamp. Jamie's heart swelled with both excitement and terror as he considered slipping it into her coat pocket the next time he saw her at the hospital. He hardly slept that night, tossing between dreams of laughter and joy, and nightmares where she turned away, her smile replaced by pity. Morning broke cold and gray, mirroring the uncertainty swirling in his heart. He forced himself to grab a quick breakfast and head to the hospital, each step heavier than the last. When he arrived, the familiar scent of antiseptic and fresh coffee engulfed him. The hospital was alive with chatter and the soft beeping of machines. As he walked through the bustling corridors, his eyes scanned the room for Sarah. He spotted her at the far end, laughing with a group of colleagues, her smile brightening even the dullest corners of the hospital. Approaching felt like climbing Everest. Every step was a monumental effort of will. But his gaze remained locked on her. She was worth the struggle. As he got closer, her laughter rang out a beautiful sound that made his heart flutter. "Sarah!" he called out, and the moment she turned, time seemed to freeze. Her eyes lit up when she saw him, and Jamie felt something shift within, a calm sweeping over his nerves. "Hey Jamie," she replied, jovially. "What brings you here today?" I wanted to ask you a question," he stammered, holding the envelope tightly in his hand. "But maybe it's better if I just show you." "Show me?" She raised an eyebrow, curiosity sparkling in her eyes. Taking a deep breath, Jamie stepped forward, thrusting the envelope into her hands. Will you go to prom with me?" For a brief moment, the world began to blur around them, the noise fading. Sarah's eyes scanned the paper, then returned to his, filled with surprise and delight. But just as his heart soared, a flicker of doubt crossed her face. "Jamie, is this a joke?" "No. Not at all." Desperation climbed in his voice, washing over his carefully laid hopes like a wave of cold fear. She glanced around, the laughter and chatter of her colleagues now mere echoes in the background. "This is so unexpected," she murmured, an edge of confusion threading her tone. "You're so young and but Jamie didn't let her finish. "I don't care about the age difference or what others think. I just wanted to be honest about how I feel." There was a moment, a tense beat where the air felt thick with unspoken possibilities. Jamie's heart pounded heavily, unsure if it was hope or despair he felt. Would his courage be enough to break the barriers between them, or had he misread everything in his heart? Finally, Sarah looked deep into his eyes. "Can we talk about this? Somewhere quieter?" A rush of relief washed over him. This wasn't the end. It was just the beginning of something he couldn't have anticipated. As they stepped away from the noise, Jamie wondered what her answer would be. Would courage finally lead to something beautiful, or would his dreams shatter with every word that followed? The quiet hallway felt surreal as Jamie and Sarah walked side by side. Every step away from the bustling crowd heightened the anticipation, wrapping around them like a thick fog. The walls seemed to close in, creating a sanctuary where they could share this pivotal moment without distractions. Sarah led him into a small break room adorned with tired potted plants and a flickering fluorescent bulb overhead. The muted sound of distant chatter became a soft hum, as they stood awkwardly across from each other. Jamie could feel the heat radiating from his cheeks, a mixture of nervousness and hope. "Jamie," she started, her voice soft and measured. "This really caught me off guard." His heart sank a little, every doubt he battled earlier creeping back into his mind. "I'm sorry if I overstepped," he stammered, wishing for the right words to spill out. I wanted you to know how I felt." Sarah hesitated, looking down at the letter still clutched in her hands. "You wrote this?" He nodded. "Yes. I wanted to explain why I asked you. You're amazing at what you do, and I've always admired how you care for others. It's more than just your job, it's who you are." She raised her gaze, meeting his eyes with an unexpected intensity. "You're really sweet, Jamie. But I can't deny that there's a big gap between us. You're in high school, and I'm already working as a nurse. That's a lot." "It doesn't matter to me," he blurted out, his voice stronger than he felt. "I mean, I get it. Age is just a number. I know what I feel. I've seen how you make everyone happier just by being you. And I want to know you better." The room felt smaller, and the weight of his words pressed between them. Sarah's expression shifted, caught somewhere between amusement and apprehension. Jamie, you're brave for saying all this. Most guys your age wouldn't even think about asking someone like me. But she trailed off, biting her lip. But? He prompted, heart racing as he leaned in closer, desperate to understand. But I have a responsibility, she continued, gathering herself. I'm not just a nurse, I'm the oldest sibling in my family. I have to think about what's realistic and what's best for my future. I'm not sure a relationship like this can work. Jamie felt his heart tighten, an ache blooming in his chest. Are you saying we can't even try? Because of responsibilities? It's complicated. She sighed, glancing at the door as if keeping an eye out for anyone who might interrupt. And honestly, I don't want to hurt you. I've seen things in this job, it changes you. Relationships, they can be hard, and I'm not sure I'm in a place for that right now. He swallowed the lump in his throat, her words a steel trap shutting around the hope he had so carefully built. Then how do you feel about me? For a moment, their eyes locked, a fragile connection holding them suspended in time. You're sweet and genuine. It touches me. Really. But I'm scared of the consequences. Jamie felt the deflation in his chest, the world outside the room becoming distant. Scared of what? Of me? Or of us? Sarah looked down again, struggling to find the right thread in a tangled web of thoughts. Both. Maybe it's too soon, and I'm not the right person for you. You'll grow, and meet someone amazing. Someone who can give you the things I can't. Maybe I already found her. The words tumbled out before he could stop them, raw and impulsive, their eyes met again, hers wide with surprise. Before he could read her next thought, the door swung open, and a group of nurses bustled in, breaking the moment like a fragile glass. Hey, Sarah. You ready for the next shift? One asked, oblivious to the weight in the air. Sarah shot them a quick smile, but the cheer didn't reach her eyes. She turned back to Jamie, a bittersweet look in her gaze. Can we talk later? When it's just us again? Of course, he managed as the gravity of the moment slipped through his fingers. A flicker of hope remained, even if it was now tangled with doubt. As they left the break room, Jamie wondered if they could ever truly bridge the reality separating them. Would they drift apart under the weight of unspoken feelings? Or was this just the beginning, with countless questions still waiting for answers? The fluorescent lights buzzed overhead as Jamie stepped back into the hallway, his heart still racing from their conversation. The laughter and chatter from the bustling crowd felt worlds away. Everything was a blur: faces, voices, even his own thoughts tangled in an intricate dance of confusion and longing. He leaned against the cool wall, allowing the moment to settle. It was strange how a few words exchanged could change everything. Just hours ago, he was a kid with a crush, and now he was standing before a reality he couldn't quite grasp. Jamie. A familiar voice broke through his thoughts, sending him into reality. It was Jake, his best friend, bounding down the hallway with that infectious energy. Dude. You still in here? We've got to finish that project. Jamie forced a smile, pushing away the turmoil in his mind. Yeah, just needed a breather. As they walked together towards the chemistry lab, Jamie couldn't shake off the bittersweet tang of what had just happened. Jake chatted about the basketball game coming up, eager for their team to pull through. Jamie nodded along, but his mind wandered back to Sarah. Could they really talk later? Or would the threads of life pull them apart again before that could happen? Everything okay, man? Jake's voice sliced through Jamie's internal monologue. Yeah, just, stuff, he replied, trying to divert the conversation. Any hint of the real emotions roiling inside him felt like a fragile ship ready to capsize. As they entered the lab, the smell of chemicals mixed with the faint hint of chalkboard dust. Jamie focused on the task at hand, but the swell of emotions nagged at him. He was aware that this might be his only chance, but the stakes felt overwhelming. When the bell rang to signal the end of the period, he gathered his things but remained glued to his seat. Should he text Sarah? Should he wait? Anxiety twisted in his stomach. Scrambling through thoughts, he pulled out his phone and stared at the screen. "Hey, can we talk later?" He hit send, heart pounding with each tick of the second hand. The minutes felt like an eternity, but finally, the familiar sound of a notification broke through. A simple reply flashed on the screen, "Sure. Just let me know when." Gasping for some composure, he felt a strange excitement mingling with apprehension. They could reconnect. There might be a tiny thread of hope weaving through the complexity of their lives. By the time he left school, dusk had cloaked the world outside in hues of orange and purple, the perfect backdrop to a life-changing chance. Jamie wandered the familiar path to his house, thoughts of Sarah shading each step. What if he told her how he truly felt, right here in this moment? Would she see the light in his eyes or the desperation in his heart? As he approached his front door, everything felt amplified. The air was thick with possibility, and every sound, birds chirping, the distant laughter from neighbors, seemed to echo the question hanging over him. With a deep breath, he pushed through the door and grabbed his phone again. The thought of asking her out for a dance at the upcoming school event sparked an idea he couldn't shake off. But then, what if she said no? Even the potential for rejection felt like a wild storm ready to take him away. In that moment, Jamie realized some risks were worth taking, even when the outcome hung in the balance. He paused, weighing the options in his mind, wondering if he could truly muster the courage. As he typed out the message, his heart raced. "Hey, would you like to go to the dance with me?" Before he could second-guess himself, he hit send and waited. Seconds ticked into slow minutes. The screen stayed silent, filled with the heavy weight of uncertainty. Was it wrong to hope? Time stretched, and Jamie felt every moment echo in his chest. Just as he thought his phone would remain quiet, a new notification lit up the screen. "Wow. I'd love to. But I can't believe you actually asked." His heart soared. This was just the beginning of something, a flicker of light breaking through the clouds. But before he could celebrate too much, a new thought pierced through his excitement. Would this moment draw them closer together, or are there deeper challenges yet to come? He stared at the screen, already wondering how far their journey would take them. A storm brimming with emotions was just on the horizon, and he could feel it rumbling. What did Sarah really want? And could desire overcome fear, or would they remain trapped in their own realities? The questions hung heavy, paving the way for what lay ahead. As night fell, Jamie sat on his bed, the glow of his phone casting soft shadows in his dimly lit room. He replayed Sarah's response, the excitement of her words still fresh in his mind. He could barely concentrate on his homework, each math problem blurring together. Instead, his thoughts kept drifting back to Sarah, the way her smile seemed to light up everything around her. He lay back against the pillows, imagining what their night at the dance could be like. The shimmering lights, the sound of laughter blending with music. Would they dance close together? Would she lean in, whisper something only he could hear? Just then, his phone buzzed again. A new message from Sarah appeared. "So can we meet before the dance? I want to plan something special." His heart raced. "Of course. What do you have in mind?" He replied almost immediately, curiosity bubbling to the surface. A few moments later, her reply came through. "How about we brainstorm some ideas at that little cafe on Main Street? They have the best hot chocolate and pastries." The prospect of being alone with her sent a thrill spiraling through him. "Sounds perfect. What time?" They settled on Saturday afternoon, leaving Jamie buzzing with anticipation. He couldn't remember a time when he felt this charged. Every thought of Sarah was a jolt of electricity through his veins. As days passed, he counted down to their meeting, replaying conversations in his head, preparing himself for every possible scenario. Would he stumble over his words? Would it be awkward? What if they didn't connect as he hoped? His mind swung between optimism and doubt, each day feeling longer than the last. On that fateful Saturday, Jamie arrived at the cafe early, nerves bubbling in his stomach. He fiddled with his phone, scarcely noticing the quaint ambience around him, the clinking of cups, the murmur of voices, and the warm scent of coffee beans in the air. When he caught sight of Sarah walking through the door, time slowed. She wore a bright blue jacket that matched her eyes, framing a smile that made his heart stop momentarily. She spotted him immediately and waved, her excitement palpable. "Hey, Jamie!" she exclaimed, her voice ringing like music in his ears. "Hey!" he replied, standing to greet her. As she approached, he felt a rush of confidence and warmth. They settled at a cozy table, laughter spilling easily between them as they talked about school, friends, and silly moments. With every smile and shared story, Jamie felt the walls of anxiety dissolve. The way she leaned forward, listening intently, inspired him. "Okay, so about the dance," Sarah said, excitement bubbling. "We should definitely come up with a theme. Something fun. Do you have any ideas?" Hour after hour ticked by, and with each discussion that flowed between them, Jamie realized how easy it was to be with her. They bounced ideas off each other, while planning everything from outfits to playlist songs. Yet beneath the surface of joy, a tiny whispering doubt lingered. He wanted to share his feelings, but timing felt off, like trying to catch the wind with his bare hands. What if it ruined this moment? Just as he was about to take a breath and say something, Sarah paused and looked at him. There was a softness in her eyes, an unspoken question hanging in the air. "Jamie, can I be honest with you?" she began, hesitating for just a moment. His heart skipped a beat. This was it. Did she feel something too? "Sure, yeah," he encouraged, his palms suddenly clammy on the table. "I've been thinking a lot about this dance and us, and I just hope we have a great time together. Because I really like you." Like, more than a friend, shockwaves of joy mixed with fear coursed through him. She was revealing her heart, and he felt a flutter of hope dancing inside him. "What if I told you I feel the same way?" he blurted, his voice coming out a little stronger than he intended. A smile broke out on her face, illuminating the cafe around them. But just as excitement bubbled within him, he noticed a fleeting shadow pass across her features. A sudden urgency rushed in. What was she afraid of? He leaned closer, about to ask, when the cafe door swung open, drawing both of their attention. A group of their classmates walked in, loud and boisterous, pulling their conversation to a halt. Just like that, the moment slipped away. It left Jamie grasping for what was unsaid, unsure of what challenges now lay ahead. There was more to navigate than just their feelings, more to uncover about their lives beyond the walls of friendship. As he exchanged glances with Sarah, he wondered if they were about to embark on a journey full of revelations and obstacles. Would this dance bring them closer or reveal deeper truths they weren't ready for? The questions circled between them, leaving a shiver of suspense in the air. Would they step beyond friendship, or would fate pull them apart before they could discover what this new chapter held? The chatter from the group of classmates filled the cafe, laughter erupting like confetti in the air. Jamie felt a sudden jolt of discomfort as he glanced back at Sarah, who wore a smile but her eyes betrayed a hint of uncertainty. Her expression mirrored his own confusion. It was a strange tug-of-war between the joy of their connection and the unease that loomed just beneath the surface. "Hey!" One of their classmates, Mike, sauntered over to their table, his grin influential. "What has got you two looking so secretive?" Jamie's heart raced. Did Mike notice that they'd been getting close? Sarah shifted her gaze, as if caught off guard. Just planning for the dance," Jamie managed, forcing a casual tone. "Oh, fun. You guys should totally match your outfits. It would be hilarious." Mike joked, elbowing another friend nearby. Sarah laughed, but Jamie could sense the weight of the interrupted moment clinging onto them both. "Yeah, that'd be cool," she smiled, but her voice was thin, almost as if she were holding something back. As Mike and the others launched into silly conversations about dance moves and prom preparations, Jamie felt a suffocating mix of frustration and hope. He caught glimpses of Sarah as she engaged with their classmates, her playful spirit shining through, yet there was an underlying layer of intensity only he could see. He yearned to revisit their moment from before, where honesty flickered between them like a candle flame. Finally, once the laughter subsided around their table, Jamie cleared his throat, his heart hammering. He couldn't let this chance slip away again. "Hey, Sarah," he said, drawing her attention. "Can we talk?" Surprised, she met his eyes. After a brief pause, she nodded, her smile wavering but not fading away. "Yeah, sure. Just a second," she said, turning to the group. "I'll be right back." They found a quieter corner near the café's window, where warm sunlight spilled over them, creating a small bubble amidst the chaos. Jamie could feel his heart pounding as he tried to read Sarah's expression. He steeled himself, not wanting to miss the opportunity. "Sarah, about what you said earlier," he started. "I didn't mean to spring that on you," she interrupted, her cheeks tinted slightly pink. "It's just I like being around you. You make me feel good, Jamie." "Me too. You really make everything better," he said, his heart racing. "But I feel like there's something more we should talk about. You mentioned being worried. What is it?" Her eyes flitted away for a moment, then returned to his with an intensity that made Jamie feel as if the entire world had shrunk to just the two of them. She hesitated, gnawing on her lower lip like she was weighing every word. "What if this changes everything? I don't want to risk our friendship if it doesn't work out." Jamie took a step closer, the tension between them palpable. "But what if it does work out? What if we find something even more amazing?" The hesitation in her eyes softened, but it was still there, lurking in the background. "You promise it won't be weird if this doesn't go the way we want?" "I promise," he said, his voice low but earnest. "But I think we owe it to ourselves to see where this goes." For a moment, they stood silently, the air thick with unsteady hope. Then, on an impulse, Jamie reached for her hand. To his delight, she didn't pull away. Instead, she squeezed it gently, her smile returning, bright like the sun breaking through the clouds. Just then, the café's front door swung open again, and in strode another group of their classmates, filling the air with raucous laughter, completely unaware of the moment that had formed between Jamie and Sarah. They flinched, the sudden distraction fracturing the bubble they had created. As the din grew louder, Jamie turned back to her, his heart racing. "Looks like we're going to have to navigate this together, friends or more." "Yeah," she replied softly, her eyes sparkling. "Together." But the joy was tinged with uncertainty, a lingering sense that even if they embraced this new path, challenges lay ahead. They made their way back to the group, hands briefly brushing before they separated, each feeling a mix of excitement and an underlying concern for what would come next. Jamie glanced at Sarah across the table, their eyes locking in shared understanding. Would they find the courage to navigate this new territory, or would fear keep them from stepping forward? The dance was drawing closer, but so were the unanswered questions, all waiting like dancers in the wings, ready to take the stage. Jamie felt a rush of energy as he returned to the larger group, the lively chatter now filling the space around him once again. Yet, his mind was still entwined with the soft warmth of Sarah's hand and a silent promise that made his heart race. "Yo! Jamie! You okay?" Mike's voice cut through the noise like a bell. "You just spaced out." "Just processing," Jamie replied with a smile, trying to appear nonchalant. But beneath the surface, excitement and anxiety tangoed. What had just felt so certain now felt like a precarious tightrope. Sarah had joined in with the others, laughter spilling freely from her lips as she shared a joke. Jamie watched her from across the table, unable to hide his grin. Light danced in her eyes, and for a moment, he believed everything might just fall perfectly into place, but the weight of the dance looming ahead tugged at his thoughts. When the topic came up again, it was a playful jab from Lisa that broke the bubble. "So, who's asking out who for the dance? Or are you guys too scared?" The teasing laughter reverberated around the table, and Jamie felt both amusement and dread turn in his stomach. He shot Sarah a look, their eyes met again, and he read the familiar uncertainty reflected there. Am I scared? He whispered to himself. He wasn't scared to ask her, he feared what her answer might be. Would it ruin what they had just begun to build? The conversation spidered off into various directions, who was going with whom, rumors about potential couples, and someone even claimed to know a secret about the DJ. Jamie attempted to focus, but all he could think about was the dance and Sarah. Hey, Jamie, what about you and Sarah? Mike yelled over the laughter, and suddenly every head turned toward them. When are you making your move? Sarah's face turned the shade of a ripe strawberry, her laughter dying out as her eyes widened in surprise. Yeah, Jamie. When's it happening? Lisa chimed in, her voice teasing, yet genuine. 1,000 thoughts raced through Jamie's head as heat crept up his neck. This was not how he envisioned asking her. The truth lurked just behind his lips, waiting to break free. He hesitated, the room around him seeming to shrink. His palms felt clammy, and all he wanted was the ground to swallow him whole. I guess I haven't really thought about it that far. Boo. Mike Mock groaned. You've got to have a plan, dude. You can't just sit back. Right. Birds of a feather, Sarah added playfully, but the tension masked her voice. There was a flicker of something in her gaze, call it hope or panic. Jamie's heart squeezed at the thought of letting her down. Resolving to change the narrative, he gathered his courage. Okay. I will ask her, he declared boldly, silencing the chatter. Ask me what? Sarah feigned innocence, but Jamie could see the sparkle in her eyes. She was curious that he took a deep breath, the laughter around them fading into an echo. Well, I think we should go to the dance together. Like as a date. Her surprise was palpable, and she bit her lip as a smile broke through. They shared a moment that felt suspended in time, the laughter from the group fading into a dull backdrop. I do like that, she said softly, her gaze fixed on his. Jamie's heart swelled, joy radiating in every part of him. This was it, this was the moment. But the thrill of confession quickly mingled with anxiety. What if it didn't go well? What if this didn't turn into what they both hoped for? As cheers erupted around them from their friends, Jamie could hardly hear their words over the pounding in his chest. He looked at Sarah, whose face was lit with joy, and felt a sense of unity wrap around them. They were in this together, but then, a sudden silence fell over the group as someone burst through the cafe door, panting and flustered. Their faces turned, curiosity piqued. Jamie's heart sank, he didn't know what this new arrival would mean, what news could interrupt their shared excitement. And how would it impact their newfound promise? Jamie blinked, the weight of the moment pulled taut as the door swung open. A figure stumbled in, breathless, eyes wide. It was Paul, his old buddy from the track team, and he looked like he'd just run a marathon. Guys! You won't believe what just happened. Paul's frantic energy bounced off the walls, cutting through the celebratory buzz. What is it? Mike shouted, his forehead wrinkled with concern. It's about the dance. Paul gasped, hands on his knees as he tried to catch his breath. The room hushed, every pair of eyes locked onto him, anticipation hanging like the air before a storm. What about it? Jamie whispered, the rush of excitement fleeing as worry crept in. What could be so important that it put a damper on their moment? They just announced who the DJ is gonna be, Paul finally managed, looking up to meet their gazes. It's Josh from the senior class. You know, the one everyone says only plays lame music. Groans erupted around the table, like balloons deflating. Jamie felt a rush of disappointment. They had hoped for a DJ who would get everyone on the dance floor, someone who understood the rhythm of their lives, not someone known for cheesy throwbacks. But wait, there's more. Paul pushed himself upright, urgency back in his voice. Apparently, there's gonna be a surprise performance too, and it's a duet. Okay, but who's performing? Sarah asked, her curiosity piqued despite the earlier frustration. Jamie. You're not gonna believe it. It's Sarah Evans and the new exchange student. Paul grinned, excitement lighting up his features. They're not just gonna perform together, they've been secretly rehearsing. Jamie's heart raced again, not just because of the unexpected news, but because the name Sarah Evans hung in the air between them like a challenge. She was one of the most talented singers in their school, and if she was performing, it would draw a crowd. Caught in a whirlwind of conflicting thoughts, he glanced over at Sarah. Her face was a mask of surprise mixed with apprehension. For a moment, he could see the fear in her eyes, the doubt seep through. What if I can't dance? She muttered, biting her lip. What if it's all too much? Jamie felt a pang in his chest at seeing her uncertainty. This was exactly what he feared, the expectations of the dance becoming a looming specter, casting a shadow over their plans. Hey, it's about having fun, right? Just you, me, and the music. That's all that matters. We'll figure it out, he urged, hoping to reassure her. The group began discussing plans for the dance again. The laughter started picking up, but Jamie could feel the pull of anxiety holding onto him tightly. He wanted to protect the feeling they had just shared from outside distractions and fears, but he couldn't deny the reality that lay ahead. As the chatter enveloped him, Jamie's gaze drifted back to Sarah, who was watching him with something he couldn't quite decipher. Did she trust that they could navigate what lay ahead together? The time's approaching fast, Mike piped up, breaking the moment. We need to get our outfits sorted. Jamie locked eyes with Sarah once again. She smiled, and in that split second, he saw her resolve returning like a tide sweeping back ashore. Maybe they could face the world, despite the uncertainties. Together, right? He asked softly, the meaning extending beyond just the dance. Together, she whispered back, and they entered a newfound pact. Each believed in the other, but just as the energy shifted back to excitement, Paul interrupted again, his expression faltering as he cleared his throat. Oh, and one more thing. There is something about Sarah Evans that you should know. At that moment, Jamie felt his heart race with both hope and dread. What was the hidden truth about the singer, and how would it impact their plans? Paul shifted nervously, the atmosphere in the room thickening with uncertainty. Okay, here it goes, he said, his voice barely above a whisper. Sarah, she's been going through some stuff. It's kind of heavy. What do you mean? Jamie leaned in, his heart pounding. It was like Paul to be cryptic. She's been dealing with a family issue. Her brother is seriously sick, Paul explained, glancing at the rest of the group as if gauging their reactions. She almost didn't come to school this year. A hush fell over them. Jamie's heart ached at the thought. That's awful, he murmured, the weight of it settling in. I know, Paul continued, his words coming out in a rush. The dance was supposed to be her chance to take a break from it all, to enjoy herself. But she's been stressed about it. Now, with this duet, I just worry if all the pressure will be too much for her. An uneasy silence wrapped around them. Jamie looked at Sarah, whose expression had shifted. Concern and empathy replaced her earlier apprehension. What if we could help? She said softly. What if we showed her that it's okay to enjoy herself, even when things are tough? Jamie felt a spark of hope. You're right. We should support her. It's not just about the dance, it's about being there for each other. The idea of bringing joy to Sarah in this difficult time felt right, like a light in the darkness. Maybe we can do something special, Mike chimed in, brightening the mood. Like help her with the performance, get her pumped up. We can show her we believe in her. Exactly. Jamie's mind raced with possibilities. We could even reach out, see if she needs anything for the performance. Maybe we could help her pick songs or create a video with messages from everyone at school, Sarah suggested, her enthusiasm picking up. Show her support, make her realize how much we all care. It can be our surprise gift during the dance. That's brilliant. Paul said, his face lighting up. Thoughts began to flow like music notes. Each idea felt like another step toward brightening Sarah's spirits. The group dove into planning, bursting with energy. Jamie felt lighter knowing they were joining forces to make a difference. Maps were drawn out on napkins, each one marked with ideas and sketches for support. The sounds of excitement filled the room once more, drowning out the earlier concerns, but amidst the chatter, a worry loomed over Jamie. What if Sarah wasn't able to perform? What if the weight of everything became too much? He glanced at Sarah, who caught his eye. They shared a moment, understanding the complexity of their emotions. "Look," Jamie said, his voice lowering. "We can be the calm in her storm, but we also need to make sure we don't add to her pressure. It's all about fun and letting go, no matter what happens at that dance." As the group continued to brainstorm, the giggles and chatter rang out like a harmony of hope and determination. It was a beautiful twist in their evening, a profound realization that sometimes, the best way to live through tough times was to lean on each other. But just as the conversation warmed toward a conclusion, Jamie felt a tug at his heart again as Paul said, "Hey, has anyone thought about the possible repercussions if the performance doesn't go well? I mean, the whole school will be watching." The air grew tense again, weighty with unspoken fears. How would Sarah handle the spotlight when she already carried so much on her shoulders? Would their plan actually help, or would it add to her burdens? As their laughter began to fade again, Jamie could only wonder how would they lift Sarah up when the time came. Would love and friendship be enough to illuminate her path? The night of the dance arrived, draped in anticipation and shimmer, transforming the school gym into something out of a fairy tale. Dimmed lights, silver streamers, and a dazzling disco ball hung from above, reflecting hope and excitement in every corner. Jamie felt the electric buzz in the air, the potential for unforgettable memories filling the space. His heart raced as he arrived with Sarah, her hand tucked comfortably in his. A surge of warmth spread through him as they exchanged glances, an instinctual understanding that drew them closer. They had both spent so much time worrying about what might happen. Now it was about embracing the moment. "Are you ready for this?" he asked, teasing a smile. "Ready as I'll ever be," she replied, a hint of nervousness in her laughter. They stepped into the gym, a wave of music crashing over them, pulling their worries to the background. Jamie took a deep breath, his eyes scanning the lively crowd already lost in the rhythm. But his focus returned to Sarah, the glow on her cheeks and the sparkle in her eyes made everything around them fade away. As they joined their friends, laughter and chatter surrounded them. Jamie felt more than just the thrill of being at the dance. Their earlier discussions about supporting Sarah now hung in his mind, a reminder of their shared purpose. He glanced toward the stage, where Sarah Evans stood adjusting the microphone. "Look," he whispered to Sarah, nodding toward Sarah. "She looks nervous." Sarah's eyes softened. "Then we should make sure she knows we're here for her." With newfound determination, they wove through the crowd, lifting their spirits as they reached Sarah, standing at the side of the stage. She looked up, surprise washing over her face but quickly replaced with appreciation. "You guys came. Wouldn't he miss it?" Jamie grinned, squeezing Sarah's hand tighter. "We're here to cheer you on, remember? You can do this." Sarah smiled, but her brow furrowed a little. "I just wish I could enjoy it without the pressure." Jamie felt empathy well up inside him. Navigating feelings while standing on the edge of uncertainty felt familiar. "You don't have to do this alone," he reminded her. "We're all here. This night is for fun, remember? Just let loose." As they spoke, Jamie noticed a flicker of relief in her eyes, as if they had lit a spark for her. "Thank you, that means more than you know." The moment turned electric with promise. Just then, the lights began to dim further, and the crowd quieted down as the music shifted to a soft piano introduction. "Let us take our places," Sarah murmured, giving a slight nudge. Jamie nodded, leading her to the front of the stage where they could see everything. With every beat that pulsed through the gym, he could feel the collective breath of excitement and nerves. This was it. The spotlight captured Sarah Evans in golden light as she stepped forward. A few deep breaths filled her lungs before she began to sing, her voice flowing like a gentle stream, haunting yet beautifully powerful. Sarah's grip tightened on Jamie's hand, and he felt her heart racing. In that moment it was as if they were all connected, the worries slipping away with each note resonating from the stage. As the song soared, Jamie glanced at Sarah, who stood mesmerized, her eyes shimmering with pure admiration for Sarah. In sharing this moment together, they began to transcend the boundaries of their fears and doubts. When the song reached its crescendo, Jamie squeezed Sarah's hand, a silent assurance. "Look at her, Sarah. She is soaring. I can't believe it. She is so amazing," Sarah breathed, her expression glowing brighter than the lights. Energetic applause erupted after the song concluded, echoing through the gym. Sarah beamed with joy, the pressure appearing to dissolve with every cheer from the crowd. As she left the stage, Jamie and Sarah rushed to meet her, laughter spilling into the air like ribbons unfurling. "You did it!" Jamie exclaimed. "You were incredible. Honestly, I don't think I could have done it without your support," she breathed, wiping a tear from her cheek. "I was scared but felt you guys right there with me." With hearts full and balloons of laughter soaring around them, the three of them made an unspoken pact. Moments were precious, woven with each other as support. "We should celebrate," Sarah suggested, and before Jamie could agree, she tugged him onto the dance floor. The beats of the music enveloped them, and for a moment, it was just them dancing under the shimmering lights. As they moved together, they released anxieties into the rhythm, smiles plastered on their faces. Sarah twirled and laughed, and Jamie felt liberated, all his fears melting into exhilaration. They danced like nobody was watching, the world around them fading into a beautiful blur of lights and cheers. Every twist and turn sparked joy, igniting the realization of what truly mattered: friendship, courage, and the embrace of shared experiences. Finally, after moments stretched out into infinity, Jamie pulled Sarah aside, needing to voice what had been building inside him. "I'm really glad we did this together." "Me too," she said, her radiant smile warming him from the inside out. "This night feels perfect." "Because it is," he replied, his confidence growing. "And because it's just the start for us, no matter what happens." Their eyes locked, a shared understanding wrapped them in silence, brimming with possibility. They could navigate the unknown as long as they stuck together, illuminating the path ahead. Just then, over the music, the instructor took to the microphone, announcing their surprise performance at the end of the dance. Jamie and Sarah exchanged glances, excitement bubbling anew as they joined the crowd. As they moved to gather in anticipation, Jamie realized that despite the hurdles that lay ahead, tonight had been a beautiful testament to friendship, courage, and the power of shared dreams. In that moment, right there on the dance floor, he felt everything shift. Fear melted away, replaced with hope and the warmth of togetherness. Whatever came next, they would face it together, and for Jamie, that was all he ever needed. And in the end, as the music came to a close, he understood the dance wasn't just a celebration of the night. It was a celebration of life, of connection, of love. Amid all the chaos. As the crowd erupted in ecstatic applause, Jamie knew one thing for sure: this was just the beginning of something wondrous. This is the moment to make your mark. If you loved this conclusion, you need to subscribe now and don't miss the next amazing story unfolding. Leave a like now to fuel the algorithm and show your support. Comment below and share your reactions to this heartwarming finale, because your thoughts matter, and don't wait not even one more second. Share this video with at least 5 friends who need to witness this transformation. Together, let us build a community that believes in love, friendship, and bold steps toward happiness.